Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Haere mai, haere mai, haere mai. No mai haere mai, ki Aotearoa, New Zealand. No mai haere mai, ke te moana nui a Kiwa. Hine moana. Hello everyone. Welcome. My name's Glenn. Welcome to beautiful Aotearoa, New Zealand, and also welcome to Moana Nui a Kiwa, the Ocean of Kiwa, the great Polynesian voyager and navigator. Welcome to Hine Moana, the South Pacific Ocean. Hine Moana is the living ancestor. She is the mother of all. We're sitting in the bottom triangle, the bottom corner of the triangle of Polynesia. Aotearoa in the bottom, Hawaii in the top at the north, and out to the east, Rapa Nui. This great body of water, this great ocean, when Europeans first came here, was seen as a barrier, a vast empty ocean that had to be crossed to get to new lands. When the ancestors of the Polynesians voyaged into this great expanse, they saw it very, very differently. They saw the ocean as ancestor, as the ocean continent, the thing that connected them. So to voyage from one small island to another small island was not to cross a great void, but to follow a path, an ancestral path that linked those two places together. So far from being this vast empty expanse, this is a world full of life, a living ancestor. What a wonderful way to experience this vast body of water. I'm going to just share with you briefly today my understanding of the ocean as a living being. Now, the whole entire ocean, covering 70% of the surface of our planet, accounting for up to 99% of the living space of the planet. This huge body of water, that's 97% of all of the water on the planet. All water is connected. There is no separation between the water, and I think probably we all understand that. But in our modern times, we like to separate things out. And so we have the Pacific Ocean, we have the Atlantic Ocean, we have the Antarctic, we have the Arctic, we have the Indian Ocean. But of course, they're all just one body. And they're one living body, and this living ocean, this living system, is critical to the functioning of our living, breathing planet. In fact, the ocean is the major player in all of the self-regulating systems that keep this planet habitable for us, all of life. How does the ocean do that? Well, the ocean has a physiology. It has a circulation, it has a respiration, it has metabolism. Through circulation, respiration and metabolism, we have an oxygen atmosphere. We have the short-term, medium-term and long-term carbon cycles. We have all of the other nutrient cycles essential for life, such as iron and calcium, sulfur, phosphorus, nitrogen. What makes this possible, of course, is the water itself. Water is the body of life. In fact, of course, 99% of the molecules in every single cell of all of us, all living beings, are water molecules. So, of course, water is life. The great Russian scientist from the 19th century and early 20th century, Vladimir Vernadsky, understood this very well. He was the man who articulated for us the idea of the biosphere. And Vernadsky said, that life is animated water. Life cannot be separated from water, and water cannot be separated from life. And of course, this is an understanding that has been with us forever as a species. All of the ancestors from all over the world, of course, understood that, and of course, people from all over the world still do understand and relate to water in this way. But in our modern scientific understanding, we kind of see things differently. So far, we've got to the point where we're happy with the idea of calling the ocean a living system. In fact, the whole planet as a living system. Some might even go so far as to say a superorganism. So the ocean is living system, okay, we're okay with that. But the ocean is living being, not so comfortable. Not so comfortable with that. And I wonder why that is. Well, actually, I know why that is. It's because we are living under this delusion of separation. This idea, this 400-year-old idea coming from the Enlightenment and the scientific revolution, that not only is mind and matter separate, but human life is separate from the rest of life, and indeed life is separate from environment. Now, it's a very strong belief, isn't it? Because even despite all of the scientific evidence to the contrary, we still insist that life and environment, although they interact with each other, are separate things. And yet, all of our science tells us that this is not the case. Our science actually tells us, our evidence tells us, that there is no separation. So this deeply held belief stands in our way of fully embracing our embeddedness within this great living being. Ocean is living being. For me, as an ocean ecologist and as a child of the Pacific Ocean, is the thing that I'm mainly focused on. And nowadays, there's a strong movement towards recognizing legal personality for many parts of our planet. Here in Aotearoa, we have a river, the Whanganui, and a mountain range, Te Urewera, that have legal personality. What would it be like if Hine Moana, our ancient living ancestor, also gained legal personality? Who would represent her voice? I would like to say and put forward that all of us as Indigenous people of this place, everybody is Indigenous to the planet, we all have that opportunity to represent the voice of our living ancestors. What's required is that we truly inhabit our relationship as the cells of the body. And bringing that legal system into the fold of life, bringing that legal system away from the age of separation and into our long-held understanding of non-separation. So kia ora koutou and ocean blessings from Aotearoa.
From when I was a kid, I've always been intrigued with water and how we interact with it. Since then, traveling the world snowboarding, the concept for this trip evolved to follow the hydrological cycle around the North Pacific. Really attempting to immerse oneself in the elements and see how this whole thing works. It's been incredible.
As children, we're all motivated to find the truth. A child looks around and is learning truths all the time. We have this natural tendency to explore. I'm Gerald Pollack, and I'm a professor of bioengineering at the University of Washington in Seattle. It can be really challenging to keep an open mind in these days. Scientists have become more hesitant to challenge perceived truth. How are you doing, Lee? So it's working? Yeah. There are some books that suggest that essentially we've kind of reached the limit of what there is to know. I'm shocked by this perception. There are many aspects of water that we see every day, and we don't really understand them. These are questions that need answers. We all learned that water has three phases: the solid state, the liquid state, and also the vapor state. However, you can't explain all the known properties of water with three phases alone. You need a fourth phase. What's the fourth phase? With an energetic input, water molecules undergo massive change. They become ordered, they acquire charge. All of this energy to create the order comes from light. We began with experiments to try to learn more. We noticed something that seemed almost magical. Every one of the tests that we did showed that this water was different from ordinary water. The individual molecules actually link together to form a hexagon, and then many hexagons. We can understand why snowflakes are hexagonal. They actually form from the fourth phase of water. After some time, there seemed to be enough evidence to indicate that this was a distinctly different phase of water. You might ask what implications it has for us. We're approximately 2/3 water. Most of the water inside of our cells, they're filled with fourth phase water. This could be central to all of what goes on in the biology of the cell. This is going to lead the way to a better understanding of how cells function.
I think part of the beauty of the fourth phase, especially as it relates, I guess, to this film, is the concept that not everything is as it appears to be. Leaving some space and open-mindedness for allowance of a shift in perspective on how you view the world is one of the most important things in my life.
Being a scientist is a search for truth. We somehow need to change the system so that we're looking for ideas whose outcome has the capacity to really shake the earth and create breakthroughs, if not revolutions. You need to dig deeper and deeper in order to find the truth. This meeting brings together scientists from all over the world to present basically their latest findings in the field of water. And there's a lot going on in the field of water.
There are a lot of interesting teams from Italy, amazing teams. They're doing amazing study. From Japan as well, from Russia. So it's really a big development worldwide.
You know, water used to be a prime subject of study, but over the past 20, 30, 40 years, it kind of lost its way. And the reason is that many people have been focusing on molecules and on simulations and have lost sight of the centrality of water for all of nature, for physical aspects of nature and biological too.
After many years of research, it was found that water is totally enigmatic substance.
Water is the most simple molecule in the world, but has to be the most studied molecule in the world, because there is so many mysteries of the water, and we don't know exactly what's happened with this simple H2O. So it's very nice to find here all these researchers sharing this information and try to understanding what's happened really with water, seawater, cells, and all this relation for Earth.
You know, we all grow up learning and understanding that water has three phases, right? A solid, liquid, and a vapor. But even 100 years ago, scientists knew that something was amiss because you can't explain all the features of water with those three phases.
We are essentially waterly systems. And so if we calculate how many water molecules are in our body in comparison to protein molecules, to lipid molecules, to sugar, to DNA and so on, it will turn out that we are 99+% of water.
Scientists have been interested in the possibility that there may be a different phase, a fourth phase, an ordered phase of water. And so a few proponents of this view include, Albert Szent-Györgyi, who was the father of modern biochemistry. He knew that there was an ordered phase of water. And Gilbert Ling, who's now 97 years old and still kicking, wildly and loudly. He wrote 6 books, I believe it is, that describe the water inside the cell, inside our cells, as being different from ordinary water in a glass, different in the sense that the molecules are lined up.
But what modern established science does not know is the so-called mesoscopic water of water ensembles. Mesoscopic, so microscopic, mesoscopic, macroscopic. So microscopic is known, these are molecules. Macroscopic is known, this is bulk water. Mesoscopic, this is in between. These are ordered aggregates or ordered clusters of water, I would say based on coherent modes.
Light comes into the picture, order comes into the picture, charge separation comes into the picture. And these features are fundamental for anything in nature. And that's why this water takes on such importance. A couple of interesting properties of this water that I should mention. The first, besides being ordered, another is that it's charged. It's not neutral. Water is neutral, but this fourth phase of water is generally negatively charged. And right next to this fourth phase water, or EZ water that we call it sometimes, right next to it is ordinary water that has the opposite, positive charge. So you have 2 charges that are separated, the negative charge of the EZ and the positive charge in the water. And that's like a battery. And in fact, you can put electrodes in, and we actually have a patent for that in the company that's beginning to develop it. You can put 2 electrodes in, and you can get electrical energy out. And this electrical energy comes from water and light.
Water has significant role. And we propose idea that water may be material carrier of consciousness in the field and in the universe.
This Congress brings together the leading experts in so many fields that will have the crosstalk that's missing in most Congresses, where you just function on a particular discipline or theme. Here we see the environmental issues, we see the importance of hydrology, we see the importance of being more conscious of what scientific measurement is showing us. Will we survive, or will we take, shall we say, a step backwards and go back several hundred years because we do not see the environmental hazards? Here we have those individuals who have, hopefully, the bigger picture, the bigger plan, and that's exciting.
And so we created this conference to provide a venue in which people who, not only people who have interesting findings can present them to one another and to the world, but also to nucleate interest in water, because water is so central to all of nature.
This gets people together with all different ideas and in a place where they're willing to discuss and debate.
If only conservative scientists meet, it can be a very scientific meeting, but there's little progress normally. If only the people meet who are outside the paradigm, they're without foundation. Now the interesting thing happens when these two worlds interact, and this happens at this conference.
We have seen in the conference physicians and physicists and from all kinds of fields of science.
It is very difficult to find interdisciplinary conference so well organized, so open-minded, and so also deep in the every particular field, chemical, biology, physics. So I think it is very, very important.
So the water conference is very important in terms of unifying and joining all of us.
They present their own research, they present their own data. That is very important. And this is really new stage of scientific development.
It has been really wonderful to meet these wonderful people and to just share ideas and thoughts. And I'm sure that the reverberations of all of that will go on for a long time to come.
For me, it's the people, more than the topics we present. Because we're here for a reason, not just because we want to see ourselves in a paper or in a photograph or nothing like that. We're here because we all love water and we're passionate about it, because water has amazing properties that we haven't even begun to explore.
So to have people who are working in these fields and understanding these things about water and all of these aspects within the body is quite helpful for the future of medicine. I think that water and resonance light therapies in the future are the medicine of the future.
We can measure coherence in water non-invasively, and we could relate coherence to diagnosis and health condition.
So what we do, we bring them into the reality. We want to do something out of this. We want to develop a technology that is based on these ideas that could be beneficial for people, animals, or whatever.
I think that is a fantastic opportunity for mankind just to grow and to be ready for the quantum leap.
And now the question is, what do the people do with it?
Water is life, the key mantra from the Lakota Sioux at Standing Rock, the water protectors advocating for water stewardship, for healthy, clean, viable waters. Water is life is an essential phrase that I believe all humans need to deeply embody. Now more than ever, the health and viability of our fresh waters and our salty ocean waters is an essential issue that will continue to, I believe, show up in human systems as a place where we need more innovation, more intelligence, more awareness, and more responsible action. Water is life. Without water, we don't live. This planet is a water planet, and to reconnect with and to commune with the element of water, to embrace its sovereignty, to embrace it as a commons belonging to no one and yet influenced by and influencing us all. It's essential that we become good water stewards, that we become eco-literate in our watersheds, in where our water comes from and what conditions it passes through before it is turned on in our taps or, used in our industry or flushed away down the sewer. It's essential to understand the ecology that depends on those waters and what the intricacy of those systems are and how all of the impacts are connected and interwoven. And it's essential to realize that our freshwater reserves are dwindling, and the water reserves that we have aren't being adequately cared for, protected, and respected. Issues of drought, issues of fire, and issues of commodification of our water resources and limited access to waters. These are global systemic issues that more and more of humanity will be facing. Now more than ever, water is life as a mantra we should all take up, and the active stewardship and participation and care for this most precious resource is all of ours as global citizens to take on and to recognize that we have to contribute and play a part. We have to start to educate ourselves and understand our watersheds and what impacts them and what impact, a positive impact we can have on them. I feel like the motivating factors to why we make change are either fear or love, and I feel that fear is a finite motivator, that fear will compel us to make changes, but only to a certain point before we hit exhaustion or apathy or hopelessness. However, I feel that love is the infinite source of our action, the rejuvenating and the regenerating energy that we need to continue to show up, to be enduring, to be consistent, to be patient, but also to be fierce in our advocacy of that which is sacred, which is precious and essential to life. So I feel that we have to create a renaissance of love, that it can't just be that we're afraid of the impact of our misuse and our lack of stewardship and care for our precious water resources. I feel like we have to ignite a revolution of reverence, of deep remembrance that when we care for something, we're compelled to take action to care for that resource. And so I feel like the journey of We Are Water, We Are One is one drop in a bucket that I pray will be overflowing soon, with voices that rise up at this essential moment to say that it is our work to do to realign ourselves with the forces of nature, to realign ourselves with the living earth, to again become an apex collaborator, a symbiotic, beneficial species that can work in harmony with the living systems, that we can contribute in relationships of reciprocity that allow for our human needs to be met in right relationship with the rest of the living community that also have their needs that constantly are put aside. It's essential that we start to center all of life as one community living on one planet, sharing the precious resources, and that we can actually be a part of the solution for how we protect and preserve our water systems, how we change our human behaviors so that our impacts diminish, that we mitigate the impacts that we have on climate and ecology, and instead that we create corridors of flourishing ecology, that we look at our human systems and where we need to retrofit and reimagine and reinvigorate and innovate so that our human systems are more intelligent and more balanced and are part of a regenerative system. And we also need to look to the unspoiled lands, to the wild-lands, and we need to do a lot more to do preservation and protection work and restoration work along stream banks and with the pollution that then rains down on those mountains that then seep into the water table, that then flow into the creeks that join as tributaries to mighty rivers that flow back into the ocean. So this moment is upon us to restore our connection, to commune again with nature, to
Welcome to the Water Ceremony Live Series, brought to you by the Water Peace Project, whose peaceful mission is to advocate, inspire, and educate people about the importance of water. The month of August is Water Quality Month, and we feel deeply that water quality can be achieved both physically and also consciously, and with our healing intention towards water for peace on our great Mother Earth. My name is Jeremy Pfeiffer, and I will be your guest host for an upcoming event in August. I'm here at one of my favorite water locations at home in Laguna Beach, California. It's a sacred coastal location that I often visit to swim and connect with water. My current research efforts employ electrochemical impedance spectroscopy as a method for detecting subtle energy states in water, and in this case, your conscious effect on water systems. One of my ongoing scientific collaborations is with Aquaside.com. This is a platform developed by my colleagues Anton Fedorenko and Serge Kernbach. The platform is built to facilitate and explore consciousness using water-based sensors. This technology makes it possible for anyone to measure and explore the effect of water and consciousness phenomena. This coming August 11th, we have planned for you a special water ceremony, and simultaneously and in real time, we will conduct a special water experiment to measure the effect of our collective consciousness on water. We will briefly explain some of the basic principles of water, the type of scientific research we are conducting, and we will scientifically demonstrate how our collective consciousness has an influence on water. Our ceremony will be based on a series of water prayers and intentions passed on to us by our inspiration and late friend, Masaru Emoto, who passionately spent many years researching water and performing water ceremonies throughout the world. His perspective was that all water on this planet held within it are sacred messages of prayer and intention, messages that would inspire the world into a more peaceful existence. During our water ceremony, we will hold a sincere intention of love and gratitude in our hearts for peace. So please visit the link on this page and invite your friends to join us in connecting with the power of water and with your consciousness.